Today, I want to talk about how these brokers don't actually hold any real AMC shares. Obviously, the float has been sold multiple times over, and therefore all these brokers are actually holding is phony IOUs, and that's why so many of us apes are having such a hard time trying to vote on our AMC shares. So stay tuned and let's make some money. And now I'll dive straight in with the key information. So, Cat Striker has tweeted saying that she has the same message, saying that her shares are voted, but confirmation is pending. And she said the trading platform Fidelity is actually suggesting that you should call your brokers to confirm your shares have actually been voted upon. Now obviously the Cajun Ape also had this voted confirmation pending message, so went directly to Fidelity to see what they suggested. So he called Fidelity because his message was constant and they never verified his vote. The representative from Fidelity that he's not actually the first person to call with that problem. She said that everybody should contact their brokerage for their own account to verify their vote has actually been voted upon. Now you may be saying, Tom, why can some people vote? Why can some people not vote at all? And why is some people's votes showing as voted but confirmation is still pending? Well, as Robert tweeted, he said when the broker tells you they're waiting for the issuer to confirm, that's absolutely rubbish. He said you've got a control number for a reason. They're effectively giving you the runaround via the broker and hoping that you accept their excuse. He said obviously the problem being is that brokers don't actually have real shares located, and therefore obviously they can't vote on your shares if they don't actually hold the real shares or they haven't actually located them. They can't just submit real votes on their phony IOUs, and therefore they're desperately trying to locate real shares or get in real shares through the door so they can submit your vote. So effectively what Robert is speculating, and what I'm speculating as well, is that these brokerages, let's take Fidelity for example, have said to the OCC or to the DTCC or to the SEC or whoever it is, they've said we hold 100 million AMC shares. These shares are verified and these are real shares. But what they've actually got in their customer accounts is say 200 million AMC IOUs, and obviously they've now got 200 million AMC votes. Now obviously they can't report 200 million AMC votes if they've told the DTCC or the OCC or whoever it is that they only actually have 100 million real AMC shares. And therefore these brokerages are now scrambling to effectively cover the difference. They're either trying to locate more real shares or effectively trying to keep your vote in a pending status and then just cancel the vote and never submit it. Now believe it or not, this theory has actually even been confirmed by the Broadridge proxy voting team. You may say, Tom, who is the Broadridge proxy voting team and why do I care who they are? Well, Broadridge are the actual company that's performing the proxy vote for AMC. You can see here that you can vote by mail by sending your letter or your mail directly to Broadridge. Broadridge are also the company responsible for the online internet votes and effectively the phone and electronic device votes as well. But so what does this email from Broadridge actually say, and how does it confirm mine and Robert's theory that there's more IOUs and votes than there are actually confirmed shares? This email says, thank you for your inquiry. For many US issuer events, there is a process known as end-to-end vote confirmation. She said this is a way to confirm a shareholder's position was included in the final vote tabulation for an event. She said there's a reconciliation that needs to be performed between shareholder reported positions from the broker, aka how many votes were cast, and what the tabulator has as the broker's eligible position for voting. Basically saying they need to perform a reconciliation between the broker's actually held and reported shares, which may be 100 million AMC shares, and the number of votes that have been cast, which may probably be more than 100 million. For example, these brokers may have 200 million IOUs and have allowed 200 million votes, but they've only actually got 100 million registered real AMC shares. So obviously they can't submit 200 million votes if they're only holding 100 million shares, and that's where the problem lies. She said there's actually many factors that can contribute to these two values being out of sync. So what she's actually saying in this email is that she recognises there is often a difference between the number of votes cast and the number of shares actually being reported as being held by these brokers. She says, however, when there is a mismatch, such as a brokerage reporting more shares and votes than the tabulator has an allotment for, then any votes from that brokerage must be left in a pending status until the share discrepancy can be resolved. So that's exactly why so many of your votes are still left in this pending status, because the brokerages effectively have a difference between the number of votes that are being reported and the number of shares they have registered as holding. And she said this may not necessarily mean that the vote will not be counted, just that more work needs to be done to reconcile the positions. And she said you may reach out to your brokerage for more details. And as Maisie tweeted, she said this is exactly what's happening with her broker, Trading 212 in the UK. She said she's currently in hot discussions with them concerning her proxy vote. She said she's just found out that IBKR is the intermediary broker for Trading 212 in the UK that's supposedly holding our shares. Just like IBKR was supposedly the intermediary broker with CM Equity holding those 400 million AMC tokenized synthetics. To me, it seems like many users in the UK and in Europe are having even more problems trying to vote on their shares, with many of those users who still actually haven't even received proxy voting emails yet. Now, I'm sure a number of you in the US have received your voting email and have made your vote, but I'm also sure there's still some of you out there, likely using maybe Cash App or Robinhood, that also haven't even received your emails yet either. So it seems some brokers are more prevalent holding these phony IOUs, where at least some brokers were early on the mark and were actually holding real shares. But again, it seems like the exact same thing we're seeing right now has actually happened before. Obviously, it happened when APE was released, as many brokers didn't get their APE shares on day one, and many users had to chase their APE shares. But at the same time, it also happened in 2021 when many users tried to perform their exodus from Robinhood and Webull to safer brokers that didn't utilise payment for order flow. As Main Street Capital tweeted, he said it sounds like brokers are cancelling transfer orders when you're trying to move from broker to broker without selling your position, because they can't actually locate real shares and they were simply transferring phony IOUs as well. This user actually tweeted at the SEC and Gary Gensler saying, if I can't transfer my shares to another broker due to having a hard time trying to locate shares to transfer on AMC, how are these hedge funds actually finding shares to short? So it seems like it's not just the short struggling to locate shares to short, but it's even these brokers struggling to locate shares to actually vote upon and obviously transfer from broker to broker. Now, obviously the reason why these shorts were somehow able to locate shares over the last year and a half was because of FTX. As Crystal Ball tweeted, he said if a shorts broker claims to locate shares from a crypto exchange that itself claims to have real shares to back their AMC tokens on a one-to-one basis through CM Equity and IBKR, they could have reset their FTDs and lowered the cost to borrow all of last year. Now, obviously, we know that since the downfall of FTX, these tokenized synthetics have completely disappeared, and that's why the shorts are struggling so much to locate real shares, and why the current borrow fee is around 700 to 900%. But obviously, at the same time, because these shorts are struggling to locate real shares, it also means these brokers are also struggling to locate real shares as well. Since those FTX synthetics have disappeared, neither the shorts nor the brokers can actually locate real shares. So effectively the fact that FTX has gone bankrupt and those FTX synthetics have disappeared, that's effectively what's causing the problems when trying to vote on your AMC and APE shares. Because obviously these brokers don't hold real AMC shares, all they hold is phony IOUs, and they can't even claim they can locate those shares from CM Equity and FTX. And finally, 741 Trey has tweeted saying the OCC, which is the Options Clearing Corporation, has just reported the GameStop stock loan balance, aka the shares on loan, is 225 million shares, which interestingly exceeds the available flow. Basically saying that from the Options Clearing Corporation, there's currently more shares on loan and being used in the options chain than there is shares available. This is obviously very worrying for the shorts because it seems like we're rewinding to the January 2021 position or the December 2020 position where more than 100% of the float for GameStop was shorted. Now that is obviously very, very interesting, especially when we have 100% utilization, 900% cost to borrow on AMC, and the shorts that are indeed struggling to locate any kind of shares at all. It really wouldn't surprise me if all of this triggers the next run up in GameStop and in AMC, especially when the market looks like it's about to take its next leg down, which could indeed trigger the short squeeze. But guys, be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always guys, be sure to ding that notification bell, because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers. Also guys, be sure to join me over on MooMoo, the sponsor of today's video, using the link in the description below. You can currently get up to 17 free stocks, entirely commission-free trading, and free level 2 market data. MooMoo is also very easy to use and has tons of technical indicators and advanced charting tools. MooMoo also has free 24/7 customer support, and with MooMoo you can trade around the clock.